I, 28-year-old female, have been friends with Tess, 28-year-old female, since we were 13. Tess is currently in the process of divorce from Stephen, 30-year-old male. Tess and Stephen have 2 young children, 19 months old and 4 years old. Prior to the divorce, Tess confided in me that 7 months prior she had met another man, Gary, and they had been going to the gym together to spend time alone. I told her that I didn't think this was a great idea to spend time with this person. Tess justified that it was just friendship, and she would not act on her feelings. New AP, affair partner, Gary also happens to be her mother's partner's son, so kind of stepbrother. They weren't raised together, which is a positive, I guess. I had my doubts as 3 years prior she had an affair with an older man. She also once proudly came to my house flaunting her then affair partner on FaceTime. Please also note that my husband Ryan, 34-year-old male, has also been friends with Stephen for about 13 years. I found it incredibly weird at the time that she was flaunting her affair and told Tess I didn't appreciate her putting us in a position where we are expected to hide her secret. I tried to give the benefit of the doubt as she was suffering from postpartum depression, and I know it can manifest in strange ways. I told Tess that I didn't agree with her hanging out with this guy, and it wasn't fair to her husband. It was also pretty morally wrong. Tess then goes on to talk about her husband in a pretty negative way, saying he isn't a good father, he doesn't do enough around the house, etc. From knowing Stephen, from my perspective, he has a wonderful relationship with his children, always engaging with them and playing. For the housework, I can't comment. Regardless, you shouldn't have an affair when you're married. Please know this is the first I had heard of her having any issues with him in 8 years of marriage. Tess then decided I was being judgmental of her situation and stopped speaking to me, but she thought it would be a great idea to message my husband. I slept with Gary today, don't tell OP. My husband told me as soon as he received the message, as he thought it was a weird message to get from one of my friends. I asked Tess to respect my boundary of not discussing her extramarital intimacy escapades with my husband, and she didn't take it well. She said I was being a judgmental friend and she wanted to tell someone. I argued she could have told literally anyone else. To me, this behaviour comes across as saying, my legs are open if you want. Once Tess finally ended her marriage, she began her relationship with Gary publicly. What also rubs me wrong is she hasn't been a great mother during this process of affair and divorce. I'm talking about letting her kids eat last night's dinner off the floor for breakfast the next day. She's also talking about how she scored a rich young guy with a sick millionaire dad. I can't watch it anymore and ended the friendship. Am I the idiot? Am I the jerk for throwing in the towel? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot, not the jerk, but you should definitely offer to write an affidavit for the ex-husband if there are ever any custody issues in play. I recently accompanied my friend during her child custody hearing, and an affidavit and witness testimony from one of her husband's friends really made a huge impact on the judge's decision. He was able to speak calmly and concisely about very specific conversations he had with the ex-husband regarding the children. The ex even told this guy that his eldest, a 9-year-old daughter, was his enemy, which is why he was so strict with her. My friend's ex had sued her for 50/50ths because she was following their separation agreement of every other weekend and 1 weeknight dinner, and he wanted more time because that's what good dads do. Thanks to this affidavit and testimony, along with nearly a dozen other affidavits from friends of family, my friend was granted majority physical custody in a very strong 50/50 state. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Tess isn't your friend. Telling your husband that she has intimacy with someone else and not to tell you was an attempt to break up your marriage, as well as hurt her husband. Hoping he either keeps it a secret and she tells you later about their secrets, or he takes her up on her offer to have a turn. If you stay friends, what happens the next time you annoy her? Will she do the same again? What if she lies and publicly claims that your husband came onto her? You end up looking like a fool for taking back a cheating husband, even if nothing happens. No good person with 2 kids would deliberately break up their family with a public affair. Even if they felt they needed to escape, they'd want to avoid the acrimony, so co-parenting was as easy as possible. Stephen should consider having paternity tests done. Comment 3. It doesn't sound like you two are, and we're close at all. You didn't say anything about her affair because she had postpartum. How does that logic even play out? Also, if your husband was such a good friend, he wouldn't have informed your friend's husband of the text he received. Your friend isn't sick. She's gleefully spraying her affair into other people's faces. It's self-destructive and selfish and self-centered, but she's hurting multiple people, and you're enabling it by not telling her straight how despicable she's being to her children. It sounds like she's always been this gross. Maybe you just weren't paying attention. It's not your fault she's like this, but to come online and paint her as bad, but you as enabling isn't a good look either. Now, for the next story. Okay, so some context. Me and my ex-wife share an 11-year-old son together. Up until now, she was a stay-at-home mum while I worked full-time. After the divorce, I got full custody due to some unrelated reasons, but I realised I couldn't feasibly care for a kid full-time while focusing on my business. So I made the decision to send him to a good boarding school in the state so that my ex could get her visitation with him. So recently, my ex-wife called me after his first month at school to ask if I could bring him back home instead of boarding school, since she believed it would be better for him to be raised by a parent rather than at boarding school. I told her if that's what she wanted for him, she could take care of him, and I'd be happy to pay child support to her. She told me that I was being a bad father, and I know why she can't spend time being a full-time parent currently, and it's my turn to step up for him. I told her I simply didn't have the time or energy to balance being a good parent full-time and working, and this was the best for both of us, since he would be well looked after and taken care of. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. You're the idiot. Why do people have kids if they're not going to be parents? It's one thing if a kid is out of control and parents have reached their limits and this is the best option, but no, this kid has simply become inconvenient. You didn't accept that making the decision to create a human being came with sacrifices, and instead of making them, you're going to pay to make it go away. Your wife is right, and you're fulfilling every fear this kid probably has about the divorce being his fault. He will learn you aren't dependable and don't have an interest in him. He will learn you throw money at problems rather than expend your own energy. And he will learn that's what it means to be a parent and possibly repeat the cycle in the future. Justify your actions all you want, not like internet people are going to change your mind. Just be ready to live with any consequences. You can't put zero effort into being a parent and then complain about how your kid turns out. And you also can't put zero effort into being a parent and then complain to the school about any methods you disagree with. Parents who delegate raising their child to teachers and then expect them to raise an entire classroom of different children exactly how they themselves would are just pathetic. Comment 2. You're the idiot. He's your son. Your son is more important than your ever fucking business. Another poor kid who will grow up without a father meaningfully in the picture. And worst of all, it's not because you OD'd or something. It's because you just don't care. Give your ex full custody and make payments. At least then he'll have a mother. Oh wait, I should have thought, if you have full custody it's because his mom has to be a total wreck, so you can't send him there because he'd probably be in danger. After the divorce I got full custody due to some unrelated reasons, but I realised I couldn't feasibly care for a kid full-time while focusing on my business. God, you're the idiot. Divorced and just threw your son to the curb, raised unloved by freaking boarding school staff. I can only hope this is a fake ragebait post. Comment 3. I get why boarding schools exist, but it just seems wrong to not have the time to be a parent and send your kid away like you're boarding a pet whilst on vacation. It's a lot to have your parents divorce at 11, have your whole life change, and neither parent seems to be willing to actually parent. Then you get shipped off like a nuisance. Your post is vague about your ex, and so I'm not sure if she's also an AH, but I feel you definitely are. Being well looked after by a boarding school is not a replacement for actual parenting. You're the idiot. Now, for the next story. Hello, I am a 30-year-old female, and my partner is a 31-year-old male. We are a mixed couple, with me being from South Asia and him being Australian. Every year, my partner's aunt hosts our Christmas celebration. The first time I attended, I brought my special goat leg roast, which everyone loved. However, since I come from a Muslim family and have a different culture, I decided to cook something I am familiar with. Unfortunately, for the next Christmas, the aunt asked me to bring a salad instead. I bought one from the supermarket, as I knew my homemade salad would not fit the Christmas theme. The following year, she asked me to bring fruits. Due to the distance and summer heat, I chose fruits that would not spoil quickly. However, when I went to use the bathroom, I was told that I should use a different one, as the previous year's toilet was designated as the guest toilet. Feeling insulted, I decided that I no longer wanted to attend the family Christmas. My partner believes that his aunt's behaviour is due to a mental disorder and advised me not to take it personally. However, I'm still unsure if I am being unreasonable for refusing to attend. Now for the next story. My teenage brother came to visit me along with our dad. My mum joined a couple days later, and altogether they stayed for like a week. Brother is autistic and he prefers to just eat fried chicken for every meal. He will have rice and some curries sometimes too, but like 85% of his meals are fried chicken. I was making prawn pasta from scratch for my dad, and my brother asked if I could make him some because he liked the look of it. So I did. I have frozen chicken tenders in the freezer, so if he hates it I could have made those quickly. FWIW, my mum hates prawns, so they basically don't eat it at their home. She's decided though that means nobody in our family likes prawns. Anyway, when she arrived my brother started raving about the pasta I made for them, and as soon as he mentioned that it had prawns, my mum lost it. She started yelling at me saying I was inconsiderate of my brother's needs and that I should have just made him a fried chicken burger instead of trying to force him out of his comfort zone. It's been weeks and she's still mad at me over it. Even more so today because apparently little bro asked her to get the recipe from me. Am I the idiot? Now here are the comments. Comment 1. When I saw the header I thought this was going to go the opposite, but absolutely, utterly not the idiot. In fact, as an autistic person, I salute you for finding another food your brother likes. And I suspect your mother is an even bigger idiot than she appears, because I bet there's other food she's kept from your brother because she doesn't like those foods. Comment 2. Not the idiot. If your brother asked to eat some of the food, ate it and liked it, there is no problem. You had a backup option of his favourite meal for when he didn't like what you cooked. Sounds like your mother was mad you made a food your brother enjoyed, and she doesn't, so she doesn't want to have to cook it for him. Comment 3. Sounds like your mum is jealous you got your brother to eat something different, or maybe she's upset she now has to cook something new. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see a problem here, so I just step back a while until she gets over herself. Not the idiot. Now for the next story. I, 25-year-old female, am getting married late January of next year. We have been engaged for almost a year now and together for 6 years. 2 weeks ago, my best friend and maid of honour came up to me and asked if I would be okay with him possibly popping the question at my wedding reception. I've known my best friend since we were 10 and couldn't be happier for her because I know she's been feeling a bit overwhelmed with weddings. I don't know what else to use while helping me plan mine, especially since they have been together for a longer time but had to wait due to personal reasons. I told the boyfriend that I would be okay with it. I'll even help plan it, but I needed to run it by my fiancé first. I promised to tell him by that night because again I was very excited and really wanted to make this as magical as my best friend had made my wedding for me. So I get home and bring it up immediately, and my fiancé goes a bit quiet and explains that he really wouldn't be comfortable with that. I'll admit I had already convinced myself of the idea and sulked a bit through the night as I told the boyfriend. But I didn't push and he took it well and promised to keep me in the loop for the next plan. I noticed my fiancé acting a bit off after that. At first I chalked it up to work stress, but 2 days after I asked if I could do anything to help. The proposal was genuinely not even on my mind by then. He said no, and that was that. But after much poking and prodding, he finally admitted that seeing me so excited for someone else's proposal on our wedding made him think maybe I wasn't as excited for my own wedding, like it wasn't as special to me as it was to him. I immediately apologised for making him feel like that, and I know he's still bothered by it, but I can't seem to figure out why. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.